Many players overlook South Africa because it has many challenges to be overcome at the start of the game. But South Africa has an important role to play in World War II and can become the best minor nation in the Commonwealth. So I'm going to share with you my strategy that will take South Africa from zero to an effective fighting force before World War II begins. And as a South African, I'll throw in some bonus info along the way as well. So, regular difficulty, no custom game rules, historical AI focuses on. Let's go. Alright, now let's have a look at this starting position that South Africa has. Two national spirits are quite bad. Orson van Brandwach uh, is a fascist movement that minuses my factory and dockyard output and adds daily fascism of 0.01. And then history of segregation. This is not apartheid. This is the history of segregation. Before that, takes away more than half of my recruitable population. So both of those suck, and I'm going to have to change that up. Now, decision-wise, I am going to be taking two decisions in the build-up to the war, and I will use them when I need to. I'm not going to create the Zimbabwean Empire, and I don't need any of those either. Then, frankly, I you do not have the 5 civilian factories to spare even for 30 days to create an intel agency, so I'm going to leave that the hell alone. Now, research. I will get a third research slot about halfway through this episode, but because South Africa has very little unlocked at the beginning of the game, you'll always be on the back foot when it comes to research. So you're going to have to choose things very carefully, and I suggest using the orders that I have chosen things in this tutorial to get the best. And I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, it is very closely tied to certain national focuses. So the two work together. I'm going to start off with electronic mechanical engineering to get my research speed up and get my basic medium tank chassis researched as well. Then for construction, first on the list we have the land warfare facility, which I'm building here in the southern Drakensberg Mountains. In reality, it is about over here, but I want to build something else in the Cape later. Then one civilian factory in Natal, and then I'm going to be working on military factories for the rest of South Africa. This is Southwest Africa, now known as Namibia, and in a lot of previous guides, this was one big wasteland, but I can't remember when, but there was changes, and there's now 4 states uh, or 4 provinces in this state here that you can now build in quite nicely. Once that is done, I'm going to be completing a railroad from Cape Town all the way north through Africa up to Alexandria. This is going to help not only myself but also my allied friends in having to avoid using any convoys that the Axis might raid and torpedo, and was actually the dream of, I think, Cecil John Rhodes. And last but not least, I would be building a naval base here in Cape Town. I actually live right here. And Cape Town Harbour is actually in the right place. It's actually, that's Saldanha. Cape Town Harbour is right there, yes, that's actually correct. At some point, I think it was the latest DLC, this naval base here got removed. I don't know why. Okay, moving on. Production wise, I only have one military factory, which is done on infantry equipment. You do have to add on the weapons manufacturer. Then I've queued up some other tech for production. This is basically everything you start off with as South Africa. Not great. And then let's look at the template you start off with. The district force is 12 combat width, and I'll be using this to start off with. And then we then have the district brigade, which is 6 combat width, all infantry, both of them. And the one thing that South Africa has straight off the bat is what I consider a legal version of the Space Marine template with light tanks and infantry built in. Before the medium flame support companies were created, I used to use this a lot because Paradox gave it to me, so it's legal. So I used to use it a lot. Before I move on, I suggest at the start of the game changing your garrison template from district force to district brigade, so that as you update this, you won't be sending any unnecessary equipment to your garrison templates. And then you can downgrade your military governor. You don't have a lot of resistance. Local police force, that should actually be good enough for the rest of the game for us. Army wise, we start off with 6 units, all very under equipped. 3 district force, 3 district brigade. I'm going to convert them all to the district force template. I've also set them to train here along the border with Botswana and Zimbabwe, or that's what it is known as now. You can do the 1 division trick. I don't like it personally because that means I have to rebuild my army from scratch again afterwards, and that takes time, and time is of the essence. Now, if you're wondering why I've split them up into 2 corps, that's because I'm going to have an infantry corps and a armored corps. I like to keep them separated so they can grind specific traits quicker and easier. And we only have 1 general for South Africa at the start of the brink, General Edward Brink. I don't know why General Smuts wasn't involved. Maybe he was too old. I'm not sure. So once I get to 55 command power later on, I'll be making him into a field marshal and hiring 2 more generals. South Africa starts with no navy. It's absolutely horrendous. But what's even worse is we start with 30 interwar fighters, but I have not researched anything to actually boost this up to full squadron up. So it's one of those unwelcome Christmas presents you always seem to get. Then let's make things clear very from the start. I will be supporting the UK, so my first focus is going to be support the policy of appeasement. Germany has legitimate grievances and the Dominion suffered greatly in the last war. We should take advantage of every opportunity for peace in our time. And what I'm after here is the 120 political power. Now I believe that's everything, so let's boost this clock up to max speed and let's go. So support the policy of appeasement is done. Next thing to get is South African Railways. South African Railways Company needs to be expanded. Bands of youth can be trained there and given the necessary skills to both work in the country and serve overseas. This is something that's new with the latest DLC. Civilian train technology is added. That's right, South Africa doesn't even have trains researched. On top of that, I'm going to get 15 trains added to my stockpile. And I'll also get an advisor in the way of the South African Railways Design Company, which I'm not going to use. Also, this focus only takes 35 days now, which is pretty great. And with this political power, first thing I'm going to get off the bat is the silent workhorse for the extra 50% political power gain. This one and the next 3 advisors are what I like to call time sensitive, in that I will get the most use out of them by hiring them as soon as possible. So the next one's going to be coming up at 100 political power. I'm going to be hiring a chief of the army. So just be advised that be ready to pause the game as soon as you meet the political power requirements to hire them. So electronic mechanical engineering is done. Nice little boost in my research speed there. Now, time to get the quick firing 3-inch, get some anti-aircraft. And always choose a military industry organization so you can get those traits as well. And if you are wondering why I'm not training anyone, it is because I have a massive deficit of infantry equipment, so basically it's pointless and very little manpower. And this is here because I have fighters and I'm not producing them. I'm keeping this warning up to remind me that I need to start making fighters at some point. And there we go. Finally, South Africa has some trains, and 15 of them for free. Next, I'm going to expand the mining industry. So Africa's mineral wealth is legendary, and we've only just begun to tap its deep reserves of gold, chromium, and platinum. What I'm looking for here is the 2 civilian factories, and the extra research bonus for excavation is pretty damn nice as well. Now, time to take my first decision, and that is going to be to commandeer some civilian trains to get an extra 15. This will give me a total of, where is it here? Okay, hasn't been updated yet, but this will give me 30 civilian trains, which is basically all I really need for now. I'll only have to produce civilian trains if I have to, much later in the game. And smack on the dot, 100 political power. Time to get chief of the army. You can go whichever one you want to. I prefer to go for the army defense expert. Something that's also changed is instead of costing 20 command power, it now gives you 20 command power. I didn't actually read this in the notes, but it used to be that South Africa used to have a maximum of 200, and like everybody else, you paid 20 to get them. Now it gives you, so it's actually very worthwhile getting as many advisors as possible to get up to your maximum. So army defense, and now my army experience should actually start increasing quite rapidly. Expand the mining industry is completed. Let's take a step over to the next little branch and do the special service battalion. South Africa is full of young unemployed men who need to find something useful to do. The special service battalion will install some much needed discipline and organization. So 10 army experience and a 25% cost reduction for the next land doctrine. And after this, I should be up to the required amount to do my first adjustment to my infantry template. With anti-aircraft research, it's now time to move on to excuse me, a different branch completely again and get construction 1, so I can just construct what I need to 10% faster. And let me put these guys into production. The way I like to order them when I'm firsting out is I look at their production cost. So they are the same as support equipment, but I'll need more support equipment, so they will go there. So special service battalion is completed, and as I predicted, I have 51, so one more than I actually need, but for army experience. But first, okay, Ethiopia has capitulated. That makes job actually a little bit simpler later on. Probably it'll be in the next episode. So next focus is going to be Q Service Corps. The Q Service Corps will be the centralized authority responsible for the logistics and supply of the permanent army. It will handle the distribution of oil, rations, ammo, and uniforms. And I'm going to get 2 research bonuses for truck and logistics company. Both of them I'm going to need 70 days for that. Then army template time. Now, before I get started, this is not meta, this is not MP, this is, for me personally, the best basic template for South Africa. So what I always like to do is I like to duplicate what I'm going to be using, and this is going to be simply named my infantry division. Okay, and let's change you over to the rifles. Now I'm going to be going for my templates that I'm going to use when the war starts is going to cost a total of 80 arm experience. I'm just doing this to get them up to their combat width for training. So it's going to be 11 infantry units and 1 artillery. You can see already the current meta, I believe, is 3 artillery and then I think it's 9 or 8 infantry. My industry just doesn't support being able to fork out, almost 100 artillery pieces. So just to get a boost in soft attack and the correct combat width I'm going to be using, this is what I go for South Africa. 50 army experience. Another reason why I duplicated it is that now my I can change this one. Thank you very much. Change them up to the infantry division, and I will leave my other what's going to be armor corps alone, so I won't be required to give them any unnecessary information when not information, equipment when I move them over to tanks. Something I want to clarify, and my reason for 25 combat width is fighting in Africa with my infantry is mainly going to be here in hills and mountains, so 25 combat width is perfect. I'll go through my armor template later on, which will be fighting in the desert up there in Alamein, which is going to be slightly different. I have 148 political power, so I need to wait probably just a day. Let's see if I can get this right. And, well, there we go. Okay, 10 hours over, not too bad. Next advice I'm going to be getting is changing my conscription law to limited conscription so I can get an extra percentage. That extra percent is going to be very much needed because change this template is basically going to suck this basically down to probably less than 5,000. If you were expecting to have a massive amount of manpower in South Africa, you can carry on dreaming. If I can get above 150,000, I will be actually extremely happy with myself. Q Services Corp is finished. Now I want to start working on these damn national spirits that are killing me so badly, and I'm going to take Police Windhoek. Yes, that is the correct way of pronouncing it. We have had a mandate over the former German colony of Southwest Africa since the last war ended. It is vital that we live up to our duty to secure and improve the major city of Windhoek. So, modify Außen war Brandwach by removing the daily fascism support, and also I'm going to lose the anti-British sentiment opinion of the UK. That's going to take 70 days. And my land warfare facility has finished being constructed. I need to hire a scientist. Unlike other nations, I don't start with any for free. I need to recruit, and I'm going to go after Eugene Thron over here because he's going to be my land warfare specialist. Let's put him to work there and wait for a breakthrough so I can start working on my flamethrower tanks. So construction 1 is finished, and now the proof that my very jumping around between research and national focuses is going to pay off, because I can now use the research bonus from Q Service Corps for on my truck. So I can now be able to research this in 96 days. So Police Windhoek has done. I started repairing my political problems and the national spirits attached with them. Now I'm going to be grinding down this industry route to get the free research slots. So first on the list, infrastructure effort. Much of South Africa remains rural and underdeveloped. More roads and railways can be the natural wealth of the country. Can bring the natural wealth of the country to its hungry ports. So I'm going to get 4 pieces of infrastructure. Luckily for me, I'm going to get 2 in the Cape, which is going to be nice because that should actually take me to the maximum. And again, I am at 150 political power, and now I am going to continue trying to fix things by getting the democratic reformer. This is to get my democracy as high up to help boost up my stability and all the rest. This marks the end of the time-sensitive advisors. After this, you can be a bit more relaxed at when you hire them, but I still do suggest following the order that I'm going to give you. And there we go, just like that, trucks is finished researching. Next on my list is to go for, interwar artillery, just to boost my artillery pieces and unlock some more options for my armored vehicles later on. Again, add on the MIO, and I can now choose a trait for my motorized, and I'm going to be going for breakthrough with the side-mounted medium machine guns. Update the current design for 5 armor experience. That's good. And where is this gone now? There we go. And now that I have my most important or my time-sensitive advisors done, what I'm going to do is turn on the reminder for the improved working conditions. Whenever this comes up, I'm going to take it because I want to keep my stability as high as possible. Remember, when I go to war, I'm going to lose if I remember correctly, it's 30% stability. And I see here infrastructure effort is 3 days away. So let's just carry on going, and I will be able to choose the next one in the chain, which will be South Africa Steel. Now you may want to get armoured, you may want to get armoured effort first, but the reason I'm doing this one for the 70 days is so that when it completes, I'll be able to start using immediately to start constructing my medium tanks. It is May the 14th, and I have a available special project that I can start researching, and I'm going to go for the flamethrower tanks. Start that one off. Something I also did once I got the 100 political power is, as I did mention, I did take improved working conditions. It's been running for 6 days now, so I should see a nice steady increase in my stability coming up. And South African Steel's finished, and I realized I didn't actually read this out. We have coal and iron. Now we have the reason. Expansion of the ISCOR steelworks in Pretoria will provide the country with the heavy steel plating necessary for modern weapons. And it gave me an extra 6 of steel in the Transvaal. So that is done. Now I'm going to move on to armament effort. South Africa is safe from invasion from any foreign power, but also remote from its allies. Both are true. It is vital that we develop its own arm industry so that the Union is never under-defended. And I'm going to get 2 military factories in Natal. And as I mentioned, this is going to time perfectly because the time that focus is done, my basic medium tank template will be set up and they can start producing them. And at long last, I have tanks that are ready to be built. Now, before the changes in the whole template system, I did used to go down heavies like most Africa players did because we have plenty of chromium, but these things, the production cost is just far too expensive. So mediums, lights, no. Late game, don't use that. But next research focus that I'm going to be going for is actually going to get my start on my interwar small airframe. Going to choose now with, maybe should have explained this right at the beginning with the tanks. With the latest DLC, we get some of the allied MIOs as well. I'm going to be using specific ones for specific pieces of equipment, but for my fighters, it's just going to be the general aircraft designer because it gives the biggest research bonus, an extra 5%. So I'm going to use that. Then, I've got a breakthrough here. Let's have a look at what they have to tell us. It is, I just add 5% progress for the flamethrower tank, and he gets that my researcher gets 70 points of experience. Not too bad. Let's create my first tank. Now I am not going to mess around with, again, I don't do meta. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I chose ISCOR, and I'm just going to simply use the Crusader LP preset. And let's have a look at the gun to make sure I'm using the right one. Don't have main armament, small armament. For single player, you want to go for more soft attack over piercing. And 15. It could actually go either way between automatic cannon and small cannon. Production cost is the same. You know, let's just go for automatic cannon. Let's get the soft attack up. Keep everything just the way it is. We can update it properly when we have a better industry. That's going to cost me 10 armor experience. Let's make those, and because I have enough armor experience, now again I'm going to use the ISCOR one because the production output has increased by 5%. I'm going to move them up. So next, and I'm actually going to move my trucks up as well to go underneath that. So these start getting produced because I'm now going to start working on, what's still highlighted here? Was my tanks upgrade. Okay, the start of my armored template. Again, this is just filling out the combat width. So again, let me duplicate this. It's going to be a armored division. And going to put on a total of 8 motorized infantry, 8 medium tanks. There we are. Now again, this is not in any way meta. This is my personal preferred template, and it is going to be 8 motorized infantry, 8 medium tanks, 1 motorized artillery as well, 95. Later on, once I've unlocked these slots, I will probably remove 2 of the motorized infantry because my organization will be a lot higher, and I'll slap on an extra 2 medium tanks, but it's depending on how my production. But for now, this is what I need. Save that. Oh, I can get another boost here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to upgrade it because I don't have 5 army experience. So I'm going to have to wait on that for just a little bit. And let me change my 6th South African infantry template to the armor division. Now this is actually sticking with history because the only armor division South Africa actually had during World War II was the 6th Armored Division. In actual fact, if memory serves me correctly, South Africa fielded 4 divisions during the whole of World War II, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd Infantry, and then the 6th Armored. But that's, hopefully my memory is correct. Then it is time to sort out my generals. So let's go here and promote Mr. George Brink here to a field marshal. Fantastic. He's now in charge. And let's go get us some more field commanders. So I think I'll just... they've copied the name here. So I'm going to promote Eugene Utran here to the general there. And let's go get another one. And I'm actually going to go for... make 6th armored. He's just going to be the general. So promote him as well. Oh, I got inflexible strategist. Nice. Okay, so he would be best on no logistics. He's staying with tanks. Okay, so Eugene, you go there. Christian, you go here. So I have my generals sorted out. They can grind their skills. And just to keep you in touch with what's happening on in the rest of the world, Japan has gone to war against China. If you want, feel free to send a military attaché. I am not going to. I am going to rather just take care of myself. My war support will go up as it needs to as things go along. But if you want to, feel free to send a military attaché across to Japan or China, whichever one you prefer. So interwar artillery is done. Also, I believe this breakthrough gave me a massive amount of army experience. We'll have a look at that now. My next research is going to be Logistics 1, making use of that lovely research bonus and the MIO to get that done very nicely. Then, insight number 2, straight up 30 army experience for flame flow tanks. Not too bad. I like it a lot. Then, before I forget, I want to increase the production efficiency for my artillery. So let's get that. Oh, I actually didn't need to the farm arming experience. I could have done that sooner, but I'm not actually producing any right now. So I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Oh, is there another one? Oh, for my tanks as well. Yes, increase production efficiency. Yeah. So, hey, 2 for 1 special. I like it. So if it is completed, I'm going to move on to the next one, Pretoria Arms. The existing steelworks in Pretoria has focused on heavy plate. With some machine tools, however, we can convert some of the factory into a center for small arms production. So in the Transvaal, 2 military factories added. That's very good. Now, so that gave me 2 military factories, which are going to get slapped onto my medium tanks and my trucks. Then I'm going to get another 2 in 70 days as well. And additionally, in 3 days, my first arms factory is going to be completed. And that is going to basically make sure I'll be producing at least one factory on everything. So logistics company is finished. I'll leave that there for now. First thing, starting from left to right, I'm now going to hire my next advisor, and it's going to be the industrial company for extra research bead for industrial. So that's that taken care of. Then next we got another breakthrough. What did we get? Flamethrower. Add minus 15% progress to special. Oh, so nice. 25% breakthrough progress for the land for my flamethrower tanks, which should be finished in 108 days. So even though I'm making support equipment with no template, I'm going to wait for that to be done so I can just finish off my infantry template when it is time to do so. Then I have sorted out a research for my army. I've started on research for my air force. It is time to talk navy. Now, South Africa starts with the early destroyer hull unlocked, and I think they want you to create a small surface fleet similar to what they had in history. South Africa's navy during World War II consisted of mainly minesweepers, which did a hell of a lot of good work in the Mediterranean, clearing mines for the Allies. But in Hoi 4, it's just not going to work. There is literally, I think it's out of all the land doctrines, I think there is only, apart from sub-detection, there's only one that actually boosts normal efficiency of destroyers, and I actually can't think where it is. And I know there is a meta for the destroyer spam. As South Africa, you can try whatever you want. I don't think you will ever be able to do a destroyer spam. So I am going to be going for the good old favorite submarine warfare. And I am a little bit biased here, being a submariner myself. I'm going to start off with the early submarine hull. It is frankly the simplest way for me to go because I don't have to do a lot of additional research, and I can use the trade interdiction doctrine, specifically this line here, to boost my subs up. And yeah, that's about it. That my navy is going to be submarines, and I'm going to be taking out every access convoy ship I can get my grubby little paws on, and that's just how it's going to go. Victoria Arms is finished, and that is now going to fill up all my production lines of equipment. My next focus is going to be fund the University of South Africa. Pretoria's University of South Africa is now known as Wits University, if I remember correctly, is one of the best universities on the continent, in the southern hemisphere even. All of that's actually true. By investing in it, we can grow our own local talent instead of sending our young people overseas. Gain one research slot. Now, something I advise doing, and I'm going to be doing it off camera, is once the arms factories are allocated to these production lines, I'm going to be increasing my medium tank production up to a maximum of 5. So as my following military factories do get completed, they'll automatically be slotted on here to my medium tanks, because with the highest production cost and needing quite a lot of them, this needs to be your production priority. Okay, so I have some airframes. Now I actually need to have the ability to put some guns on it. So light machine guns will be next. Again, I'm just going to choose the general aircraft manufacturer there. Ooh, this is very close. So I got 2 breakthroughs. So the first one was 100 experience land warfare. That is damn nice. And the next one is 50 army experience. Wow. Okay, and this is going to be completed in 30 days. That's very nice. I'm actually going to take advantage of this and create a proper garrison template. So let's go for, yeah, cavalry divisions. This will be my military police, and it's going to consist of, very simply, one cavalry division. This, my friends, is one of the two meta template designs that I do 100% agree with. For garrison, either take one cavalry or fill everything up with cavalry and add one military police if you research it. Either one of the two. I'm going to choose a much simpler one. I'm going to spend 5 army experience, mark him as a reserve. Obviously, you can go away, and my military police will now be taking care of business. What else is there to do? Well, I can unlock a trait for aircraft. Let's go for reliability plus 5%. Don't have to upgrade everything. That's nice. And I have my planes. I'm not going to be using carriers, obviously. Can you imagine South Africa trying to build an aircraft carrier? That's just not going to happen. That's going to have to stick here for now until I can actually design the bugger. So by funding the university, I've gained an extra research slot. My next national focus is going to be Seaward Defence Force. The Seaward Defence Force has served our Navy for 2 decades. Its funding should be increased. So 25 Navy experience and a naval dockyard and a cost reduction in naval doctrine is coming my way in 70 days, which will tie in quite nicely for when my early submarine hulls are completed. Now, what to use this research slot on? This one is going to be basically dedicated to industry. First thing I'm going to be doing is basic machine tools, very overdue, and just so I can get a 10% boost to my production efficiency cap. And there we go. 1st of February 1938, my flamethrower tank has finished researching. So, first things first, my next advisor is going to be the captain of industry, because at some point I'm going to finish constructing all of this, and this is actually a reminder for me to actually just boost all my infrastructure to maximum so I can get extra building slots. Obviously, I'm focusing first on my provinces that have resources in them. Now that that's done, let me design my tank. So I'm going to use the Crusader one I had previously researched, and I am going to change it to the flamethrower. That means I can change it to a flame support company. As you can see, everything here goes down a lot. I am not going to change anything else right now. My priority is keeping the production costs down so I can get as many of them out as I possibly can, and I can always boost them later on once I have my units all filled up. So this, for some reason, is going to be 100% free. Let's put this guy into production. Now for this, I'm actually going to use the Vauxhall one because it gives, it's here, this one gives a bit more a boost to my armor. Oh no, that's if you research it. Okay, never mind. Let's just check this one here. I think I'm going to stick with Vauxhall. Stick with one. I can get more defense, more production. Yeah, I'm going to stick with South Africa. Stick with Vauxhall. So that'll be my choice. There we go. Hate or not, that's the one I've chosen. And to get them into production, I'm actually going to take one off there, put there. I've still got another 5 coming up into production, so that means I can still fill up this slot over here quite easily until they're filled up. And now I have plenty of arm experience to complete my templates. First of all, armor division. So I've gone through this. 35 width is basically perfect for fighting in the deserts, because that's where the additional attack comes from. That's what I base my templates on. For this one, I'm going to add on some medium support just to get extra soft attack, defense, and breakthrough. Then I'm going to add on some support anti-aircraft, and probably the most important one of the bunch, logistic companies, so I can use less fuel. You can add on a lot more if you wanted to. Like for myself, I would love to add on engineers for the bonuses they give, but I've got to think about my industry first. So this is my South African armor template. As I said earlier, once I unlock these additional slots, I'll probably remove 2 motorized, add on 2 more medium tanks just to boost them up. Let's make them my elite unit for now and save that. Then infantry, little bit similar, of course, medium flame tanks. Then I am going to add on support anti-aircraft as well to up their piercing and get some air attack for CAS later on. And for this one, engineers. They winner chicken dinner, as they say. So again, this is my, and this template I will probably carry through all the way to the end of the game. So another 30. That is my 2 templates sorted out. I have my templates. The only one I'll probably add on is later on in the next episode 1 war. I'll probably add on some mountaineers. And now that everything is completed, I'm actually going to start training once and for all, but I'm going to put them on low priority because my objective is to fill out, first of all, the units that I have. I'm going for a small, effective fighting force. That's what I'm after. I'll probably never fill up these slots the entire game, but wherever I fight, I want to do the best that I can. And that's that. Oh, one thing I can actually do now is I can actually stop training my guys. I can just train them up until they are level 3 and leave it at that, because now they'll actually use less equipment, because as your units train, they actually go through equipment. So they can stop doing that once they are fully trained, and we can carry on with this tutorial playthrough, whatever you want to call it. So my early submarine hull is finished. Now I just need to wait for seaward defense force to be completed, and I can start making them. For the rest of this episode, this research slot is going to be concentrated on these techs over here, because I believe to have an effective fighting force, they need to have the best equipment possible. So let's start off with the Vickers MG and Stokes mortar. Going to give them the boost with the MIO. So seaward defense force is ready. I can start making a navy now. My next focus is going to be all the way back here in the industry for heavy engineering. It is important that South Africa stay up to date with the latest engineering technologies. Even though our industrial base is small, very small, we should invest in heavy machinery and engineering to catch up to our peers. 100% research bonus for anything in industry, and that is what I'm looking out for there. Now I have 25 naval experience, so what I'm going to do is just let this run until it updates that I have a dockyard. Should only take a couple of hours. There we go. And it's time to, this is the first time I've actually had access to this. Let's turn off my surface fleet and let's design a submarine. There is no preset here. I'm just going to auto design it. It's correct, but I'm going to add on another torpedo. What you want for raiding submarines is, if I remember correctly, convoy ships have an HP of 60. So you want to get your torpedo attack to 60, so every time they strike, it's a one-shot kill. So I'm going to go for that, and I'm going to use historical submarines. These names are actually 100% correct according to the old Daphne class, the Spear, Umkhonto, and Asachai. So I'll be going for those for these ones, and I'm going to be renaming them to what they're. It's a, I think I spelled that correctly. This is all French design, first submarines that South Africa had, and it's going to cost me 10 naval experience. There is no military industrial organization for South Africa for submarines, because the only one you have is for escort ships, not even for cruisers or anything else, only screening ships. It's a terrible thing, probably the thing I really dislike about South Africa. So that's going to cost me 10. I can turn you off. Let's start making you, and I am going to make only 3 according to their correct names. And as always, make sure you have increase your repair dockyards as well. And I'm one step closer to actually manufacturing the planes that I already have. So I have the airframe, I have the weapons. Time to get the engines. So there we go. Research again. I'm sticking with the general aircraft manufacturer over there. Okay, so basic machine tools is finished. Now, my next bit of research may sound a bit foreign, a bit weird, but please try follow my logic of thought. If you disagree with it, please, the comment section is there. Tell me why you think I'm doing this wrong. The next research I really want to do on my list is actually synthetic oil experiments, so I can build at least one synthetic refinery to boost my fuel production, because something that Paradox missed is the oil fields that actually lie off South Africa's southern coast here. It's between 6th and 12-mile bank. It's actually over here. So I want to build my own synthetic refinery. Problem is, the focus for the engineering boost is going to take another 43 days. This research cap that builds is for 30 days. So I'm going to be losing 13 days worth of research. And as I've explained at least once, but probably multiple times, you're always on the back foot when it comes to research as South Africa. So I cannot waste any time. So what I'm going to do, and what I advise that you do the same as me, I am going to get a head start on improved machine tools. 96 days, I'm going to head start on this one. And then when I get the research boost from the heavy engineering, I'm going to stop this, swap over to synthetic oil experiments, and then later, before this episode is finished, I'm going to jump back and I'll finish this off before then. So that is that done. Next thing on the list. Okay, I have just over 100 political power. I'm going to hire my military theorist for the reduction in my land doctrine, and I'm going to get my land doctrine. Now, there are many good ideas here. If you want more manpower, mass assaults. If you want to stick with the Allied way of doing things, grand battle plan. Superior firepower is, for many people, perfect for minor nations, but I'm going to be choosing none of these. My doctrine of choice for South Africa is the mobile warfare doctrine. Let me explain why. I can get, through research, I can boost most of these stats here. I can get more soft attack, more hard attack, more defense, breakthrough, all of it. I can get that through research. The one thing that I cannot research is organization. I've said it again a couple of times. I'm going for a small, effective fighting force. And if you want organization like I do, mobile warfare doctrine is the way to go. This will make sure that even though my army is small, wherever they go, they will fight hard and they will fight well. So let's start this off. Mobile warfare doctrine. Extra breakthrough for my tanks that are coming, more speed. This is also a very good boost for my style of play. The 50% increase to my planning speed. It's going to unlock that, and I'm going to be following down this tree. If you disagree with me, it's a free world. You're welcome to disagree with me. This is the route I suggest you take for South Africa. Mobile warfare doctrine. Now, I have also got enough command power that I can dish out all my traits for my field marshal in one go. So through my advisor, I got a boost for defense. So I'm going to go for offensive doctrine here for more attack and speed, and then I'm just going to take both of these. Organization first for more reinforce rate, and charismatic for more recovery rate. Job done, easy peasy. Once I unlock more, I will get more. He is level 4, so I can get a couple more, and these guys, once the war kicks off, are going to be doing a lot of fighting. And my first event for South Africa, this is tied in with the elections that happened in May 1938. So, election, fascists in government. An aggressively nationalist sentiment has grown in South Africa, giving rise to several parties promoting fascist ideas, a state enforcing its power through force. One of these in particular has won favor in the current election, leading to discussions within the United Party about whether or not we should try to cooperate with them in forming our government. While they openly reject the democratic ideals that are the foundation of our state, the fact that they chose to participate in the election itself lends some credibility to our views, and acknowledging their public support may keep them from taking violent action. So we have two choices. Rather than the communists, changes popularity of fascism by 10%, and a broad coalition of democratic parties is preferable. I lose 5% stability, but gain 3% democracy. Now, let's have a look at the situation I am in. So, I've lost the daily fascist support, so this has been quite steady, but my democratic reformer has been increasing it as his time has gone along. On top of that, very soon I am going to be getting rid of this and making some headway on getting rid of the history of segregation. On top of that, I don't want to lose a single percentage of stability. So, I'm going to go for rather than the communists. I will get that stability. I'll get this back. It's dropped by 9%. I will get that back quite soon. All right, so heavy engineering is done. Now remember what I said, what I was going to do. I'm going to do a bit of a juggle. I've made some progress of improved machine tools. I'm now going to jump across and use the very nice 100% bonus and swap over to synthetic oil experiments to get the refinery in 148 days. I will keep this 40% progress, which I will be able to continue using later on. There it is. And because I was quite lucky in getting the 2 points of infrastructure in the Cape, I am actually going to turn this on, so when I get 100 political power, I can get that extra research slot because I haven't done concentrated industry yet, and I will be able to build my oil refinery where it's actually supposed to be here in the Cape. Mossel Bay, where South Africa's oil refinery is about over here. But next focus is, it is after the Anschluss, so after 1938, I have 1% more than what I need to start on the War Measures Act. And this will finally start beginning to sort out those nasty national spirits that I have. I know some people like going this route here for the increased production, but as you can see, I have 6 units. I'm training 2 more, and I only have 7,000. That is not enough to reinforce even one of my units. So sorting out my manpower problem for me is the best way to go. So War Measures Act it will be. We cannot allow any disruption to the war effort. We are passing new legislation to enforce total compliance with government aims. This will protect the flow of resources and allow us to focus political energy where it is needed. 120 political power. If you didn't know, this one is locked behind having more than 20% wall tension. So I am finally there. Let's carry on. And finally, I have all the basic modules unlocked to start producing fighter planes. Unfortunately, I have no experience to actually start designing them. No matter. My next research is going to be boosting the armor of my tanks, so when I have enough, I can get them a bit more better protected. I'm going to start off with basic armor protection. Again, choosing ISCOR over there, and I can get a new trait, and I'm going to go for the fighter aircraft. Quite an important one here to give me 5% extra range. Africa is a big place to fly over, and there are very little airfields down south and in the central of Africa. And I have now Vickers MG and Stokes mortar. Next one is going to be the improved infantry equipment one. This is going to give me more soft attack. Like I said, I can research things like this, but I can't research organization. Research bonus 10%. Let's go. And trait. What trait am I going to be going for? I'm going to go for the reinforced stocks. A little bit more soft attack, a little bit more reliability, and more importantly, it'll open me up later on for increased production efficiency. So there we go. And I have got 100 political power. Now, I was a bit more relaxed hiring a bunch of these advisors, but this one I wanted to get as soon as I got 100 political power. I'm not going to get the the extra bull slot. Instead, I'm going to get my chief of the Air Force. I'm going to go for the all-weather expert. I just prefer this one because it affects all the aircraft I'm going to build, whereas the ground support only really boosts one thing, the air superiority. So that's what I'm going to go for. And when I get to, I believe it's 7 air experience, I'll actually be able to design my fighters. And there we are. War Measures Act gave me a nice chunk of political power. Next one I'm going to go for is the CSIR. South Africa lags behind other dominions in science and technology, so establishing the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research in Pretoria has become a pressing matter for the government. 10% technology sharing bonus from Commonwealth research. So all these little plus 50% that you've been seeing around here is actually going to now increase by 10%, which is quite nice. I have a available special project, and even though I'm not going to use it, might as well level this guy up a bit. So let's go for the military engineering vehicles. Let's start that because it doesn't cost me any resources, so why the hell not? And then I have enough to get my extra bull slot here in the Cape. And something I almost forgot to do is I can actually now design my aircraft. So again, going with the presets, Gladiator Fighter. It's going to give me machine guns, engine sorted, and I'm going to add on the extra range and reliability, 7 air experience. And I'm actually, now I think about it, I'm going to keep this there. I might still use this later on, but I doubt it. I'm going to put this production on here, but I'm not going to take a factory off my tanks. Once I get there, they'll start manufacturing. What I have done is I've actually set for my Air Force, which I've attached to my 1st Infantry Corps, I've actually set them for normal operations. So they will only fly if they're over 25%. So if they do get into combat, this squadron won't just disappear. Basic armor protection is done. I'm now going to do basic armor. Yes, now I'm going to do basic engine. This core again. And I'm going to hire my chief of the Navy. I'm going to go for commerce rating, so I get 15% more efficiency towards that, and some valuable naval experience. Now, this may surprise you, but I've actually decided that this manpower is really bothering me. So I'm actually going to cancel these recruitment lines. That's a nice jump in manpower. I would rather fight with these 6 units fully equipped with additional equipment and manpower stored up than have a large fighting force that is under supply. With the supply update that came a while back, it is to me more important to have a small amount of units fully supplied than a massive army that has nothing in it. SI have been established. Next one I'm going to be doing is the Joint Air Training Scheme. The Commonwealth nations are pooling their resources and experience to facilitate and accelerate the training of pilots and aircrew. This is just going to give some boosts to all types of aircraft. I mean, look here, fighter range 10% and 5% more air attack, range, ground attack, 8th generation chance. It might seem silly, but it's actually a nice little boost. And I have enough arm experience to go one up and get to my next one, delay. All infantry and motorized infantry organization plus 15, 90. So yeah, that cost me 90 experience. So now let's see if that's updated. Yes, it has. So that is now 35 minimum. Even Paradox say the minimum you should go for is 30. I prefer 40, but that's it. I'm going to go for, change it up. Let's get that tank as my icon. There we are. Here we go. Improved infantry equipment is completed. No resource bonus on this yet, but I'm going to go for the Lewis Mark III and the SBML 2-inch mortar. Add that on there so it goes a little bit faster. And then I have my first naval vessel. So let's set up my navy at long last. South African Navy. Check this guy. You do get one admiral, Guy Halifax. He's all designed for capital ship, but I'm going to use him. He'll get the traits that I need him to do. So this is going to be the South African, or let's just call this First Submarine Squadron. Up, N, not M. Okay, let's set these guys up. So first of all, automatic spill-off turn on, so when they get damaged, they return to port. They're going to be raiding, so engaging at medium risk isn't going to be a problem. And let's just change this to a better color. Let's just call this the fleet. There we go. And I don't like that symbol. I like, where's my submarine? That symbol. Okay, all set up, and I'm not going to set them to do anything just yet because I don't want to waste any fuel. Okay, synthetic oil experience means I can queue up my refinery. Now I'm going to finish off improved machine tools. Just another 52 days until that one's finished. And let me put this guy into production here. And I'm actually going to be bold enough to move him. So after my military factories are completed, that will be researched. The reason I'm not putting it all the way up to the top and building it straight away as much as I would like to is a military factory takes 7,200 IC to build, whereas the synthetic refinery is 14,500, just over double. And I don't want to waste any time. I am making pretty good progress in outfitting my army, but I don't want to take the chance of missing out on even one arms factory before the war starts. So basic engines are finished. I'm going to jump across to my navy, and now I'm going to get the 1936 submarine hull just to make things a little bit better. And if I'm lucky, I should be finished making my 3 early submarine hulls, which I've named the Daphne class, and I can start making those, and then I can get a trait for my tanks. I have taken this one already. For the factory output, I'm going to go for more breakthrough. Let's update that for 10 armor experience, because that will work for both my medium tanks and my flame tanks. And the nice thing is, your if production efficiency cap doesn't actually change, sorry, this one over here, when you actually update the model. And just like that, improved machine tools is finished. I'm now going to get construction 2 so I can build another 10% faster. And I've got a whole bunch of other little things I want to do now. I want to hire myself a military advisor. I'm going to get the armor expert. So my armor division attack and defense goes up at 10%. My understanding is this affects the flame support tanks as well. Although I cannot confirm that 100%, but that is my understanding of the game mechanics. So that is going to be great. Now I have gotten 3 breakthroughs so far while working on the military vehicles. So this is like a 50 armor experience. I've gotten a minus 5% on that one. Okay. And added 10% on that one. So not too bad. Now, what I'm going to use this armor experience for, because I am in the green with my medium flame tanks, is I am now actually going to upgrade them to something a little bit more useful. So I'm going to create a variant of this. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to put on the biggest turret you can get, because I get a boost to my breakthrough. I'm then going to add on the wet storage, ammunition storage, to get increased to my reliability. Sloped armor to get a boost for my armor. Swap the suspension for the torsion bar for another big boost in reliability. I'm going to boost up my engine as much as I can, and then I'm going to take my armor up there. I just want to I just want to keep it above 80% reliability. That's what they recommend. And this is a much more usable machine. So that will boost the stats of my, specifically my infantry. So let's update that. Make the Mark 1, and to help with conversion, I can convert from my stockpile. So the joint air training scheme has been completed. The next one is going to be quite important. Suppress the Stormjagers. The fascist pro-German Brandwacht, that's more German than Afrikaans, has a paramilitary wing modeled on similar European groups. They are disrupting government efforts to recruit troops and pursue a secure and united war policy. The Stormjagers must be broken up. So this is going to remove that national spirit, so I'm going to get 10% more factory output and 10% dockyard output as well. Quite important to do that. And I have gotten up to 50 Navy experience, so it's time to swap out fleet and being for something a lot more useful, trade interdiction. While my military engineering vehicles are finished researching, not too concerned about that actually happening, because the only land one I have is the super heavy railgun, and producing a railway gun for South Africa is an investment I am not really thinking about right now. I could delete this facility. It will take 100 days to do so, but I think I'll actually just leave it around there. Maybe I will use it later on in this playthrough. So I've suppressed the Stormjagers, and that is going to give me a nice boost to my factory and dockyard output. Now, desert equipment. The war in North Africa requires specialized equipment, and as our forces could be called to serve on that front, the provision and supply of that equipment will become an important logistical matter. I'm going to get the buff desert equipment, which is going to give me minus 50% to my heat attrition, and my acclimatization factor for heat is going to go up by 10%. Both of them very, very useful. Now, I have almost 150 political power at this point. It is now May 1939. We all know what's going to be happening in the next few months. I recommend keeping 150 political power in the bank so that as soon as you can jump either straight up to partial mobilization or war economy. I don't really advise going early mobilization. I don't. It has some benefits, but I don't really recommend this. It's because it all costs the same. I recommend just waiting and going on. I am actually doing quite well, sorry, with my armored production. I am short only 513 guns. They'll be sorted on 68 days. And my medium tanks is going to be sorted out in 88 days. And this is the one I was worried about the most. So with this factory very close to completion, what I'm actually going to do is keep that on 3 so that the next armed factory will get started on my planes so that I can actually start filling up my air force. And so my Lewis Mark III, well, that's a machine gun, and my new mortar has been researched. Now I'm going to move on to the Sten Mark II upgrade in my infantry equipment. So research that with the weapons manufacturer, and I can get a new trait. And what I'm going for is the advanced barreling forging over here. So I can get extra 3% production efficiency, so I can make them as fast as I possibly can. And I have a new type of a submarine hull, the 1936 model. Now it is time to get better artillery because I am in the green with that, so I can afford to do that. MIO, done deal. And now let me design these babies. Again, I'm just going to go auto design. They've maxed out the engines, maxed out the torpedoes. I have now 34 torpedo attack. So now it takes 2 shots to kill a convoy ship. Still, unfortunately, can't do anything here. And let me name these after. I think I'm going to name them after the cities. There we go. Okay, that is going to cost me 10. And now, as soon as this last submarine is built, I will start building these guys. And I'm going to send them onto the first submarine squadron straight away. So unfortunately I just have to deal with this here for a little while. There we are, construction 2 is completed. Next thing I'm going to go after is the oil processing. I choose this over the fuel refining for 2 reasons. First of all, it's faster. So as soon as that refinery is built, it'll probably already have this bonus attached. And secondly, the way I do the maths, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, I'll actually get more out of my oil refinery by taking this than I would get by getting 20% from my normal oil and 10% from my refineries. This boosted by 50%, so I should be going from 48 oil up to 72 if my math is correct. So oil processing it is. And that desert equipment completed. Now the next focus is quite an important one: secure the interests in Africa. The Union of South Africa neighbors a number of British colonies that could be left to our administration. We should also do what we can to permanently secure our mandate over Southwest Africa. So I'm going to ask United Kingdom to basically give me a whole bunch of land in Africa. If you are playing a multiplayer game, which I believe this build does work for, depending on who your UK player is, make sure you ask them before you do this, because they might not want to give it up. I find this focus very important to get as early as possible, because it helps with 2 major issues. First of all, manpower and resources. Right now I don't have any rubber or tungsten, even though I'm producing it, as well as aluminium. And the UK AI, which should give me this in 70 days, will solve 2 of those 3 resource problems. Now I have the option to take improved working conditions. Because there's still a little bit to go, and I am at 232, I'm going to take the chance and do this. I am so very close to filling out my armored unit, and I am making some good headway on my fighters, well, starting to at least, that I'm confident that losing that factory output, which you do when you take improved work conditions, you lose 10% of your factory output. I'm confident that I won't be making a mistake here. Then I can take another land doctrine, this time elastic defense. Gives me more reinforce rate. Only my tanks get some more organization. And my mounted infantry seems just to be, yeah, it's just cavalry. So basically I just get more speed for my tanks, which is good, and a little bit more organization. And with the quick firing 25 pounder, I have better artillery now. I'm going to upgrade my anti-air. This is going to boost a whole bunch of stuff. Choose my MIO, and then I can get a trait for my artillery. I'm going to go for rapid fire because this improves my soft attack, hard attack, and air attack all in one go, making them more effective. Let me pay the 5 armor experience. I'm happy to do that. And then I need to manually go here and change my upgrade my towed anti-air, and I need to start making my 25 pounder, and I can do that so I can upgrade them faster. What else can I do? No, nothing here. I am so close. This is 25% for about a couple of weeks, but I recommend waiting till 26 or 27% to actually change up, and then I can actually show you what air doctrine I'm going to use. I have always been attracted to operational integrity, but for South Africa, because you actually do get one focus for battlefield support, and this does help both, well, most of your airplanes. I'm going for battlefield support, so unlock that, more fighter detection, and more air wing mission experience gain. So that is that taken care of. And there we are. Secure interest in Africa is completed, and the United Kingdom has approved. I now become the owner and controller of Rhodesia. Well, I don't know, Northeast Rhodesia. Okay, a whole bunch of countries. Let's just click that, and this is the now new and improved South African. As you can see, massive jump in my manpower. My resources will very soon go away once I update this to only be short of aluminium. And I am going to end this episode here. It is now July 1939. I think we all know what's going to be happening in the next month or two. Let's just have a quick recap of what I have done or shown you so far to get Africa up to speed. We have filled out a whole bunch of good military and civilian advisors, updated a whole bunch of traits on our equipment. Research-wise, we have done quite a lot of very focused things. We have almost up-to-date infantry equipment. We have up-to-date our require support artillery. We have very nice tanks for this time of year, up-to-date artillery, good submarines, and we have got some aircraft. I have still got quite a lot of construction to do, but once we can change this freaking economy up and I can get rid of that debuff to construction, these will go a lot faster. This has been a great change. We have gone from 1 military factory to 10 and 0 dockyards to 1. I now have a fully fledged out templates that are fully stocked up, ready to go. Navy is getting its feet wet. The Air Force is also finally getting something right, and we are, as South Africa, basically ready to take care of Africa, kick Italy out of this situation, and then continue helping our allies here in Europe. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and if this tutorial was helpful, please, you know what the deal, consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next episode, which will focus on the war in Africa and possibly even invading Madagascar. We'll see how that goes. But until then, have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.